All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're still working on our 5 photos. We're going to edit the 3rd photo for our video slideshow. And I don't think my face helps this process very much, so I'm going to get my face out of the way here. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So go ahead and open up your 3rd picture into Pixlr E. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to, as always, crop it. You want to make sure that you frame it well. So if you look, I already put my subject right there in the PowerPoint. So I've already cropped it. So at any rate, I want you to make sure you crop it first. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do on this one. So on this one, I'm going to have you use the, I'm going to have you come to the lasso tool, and I am going to have you use the Bezier tool. I decided that that is actually a really good tool for you to learn how to use. So that's the whole idea on this one. So there's 2 things we're going to do. We're going to copy a picture, a part of a picture. So what we're going to do in this one is we're going to copy this flower, and we're going to make a copy of it over here. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to copy a flower from another picture and place it in front. So that's what we're going to do, as well as a couple other things. But at any rate, so pick a picture that you can copy a part of the image and paste it to another part of the image, and then also we're going to get something from another picture and put it in. Okay, so let's get started with zooming in here. We're going to use our Bezier tool, our Bezier lasso, to select this. So I'm going to go to the old lasso tool. I'm going to go to the Bezier, and so basically what you do is, so by the way, see this fuzz around the flowers? I'm going to select that fuzz. I don't know if that's going to be good or bad. Hopefully good, but we'll see. Sometimes you have to try stuff. So what you do is you click at one point, and then you click at the end point, and then you decide how you want to curve it. So then I click when I like the curve. And so then I find the top and the other top of a curve, click, and then I create the curve I like, click. And then I just keep doing that. Okay, so I'm going to go to right here, click, and then curve it out, click. I'm going to go to the other side, click, and then curve it around this leaf, click, and click, curve, click, and I'm going to go click here and then curve it out there, because like I said, I want to get some of the white stuff. We'll see if that ends up looking good. It might look bad, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to go click, curve, I'm going to go click, curve, I'm going to go click, and I don't know if that was a good, that probably wasn't good. I'm going to have to go back and fix that one. And then I'm going to click, curve. Anyway, you get the point. So what I'm actually going to do when I get to this red stuff, I'm actually just going to go click and curve, because this stuff is going to be much easier to select with the magic wand tool. Okay, so it's only the stem stuff that I want to get. Okay, click. Okay, so I'm going to click here and curve. I'm going to click here and curve. And again, with this stuff, I'll just get this with the magic wand later. Okay, click, click and curve, click, curve, click, and then get to the end here, click, curve, and then I'm going to click over here. If I double click, it selects. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the magic wand tool, and I'm going to, the tolerance at 32 is probably good. The higher it is, the more stuff it selects. So I'm going to add to the selection, and I'm just going to edit, undo. I have no idea what just happened there. Oh, somehow I got on the wrong layer. I already had multiple layers. Okay, so I make sure I'm on my regular old background layer. So I'm going to click, 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 just to add to it, click. So anything I'm missing, I'm clicking on, click, get a little bit more there, get a little bit more there, get a little bit more. Anyway, so you can see it's working okay. Oh, press Control Z. Got a little carried away there. Anyway, it looks pretty good. So now the rest of it, I'm going to get with, I'll just go to the marquee tool. I'm going to go to add, and I'll just drag, like, oh, I want that whole circle. I want that whole circle. So you can see that I'm just using multiple tools to add stuff. And then if there's anything that's too much, I can always subtract. So like, I think what I would do is I'd probably go back to my magic wand tool here, go to subtract, And I might just click here. I don't know, actually, that's not terrible. I'm going to go Control Z. I'll probably turn the tolerance down to like 10, something like that, and then go to remove and then try again. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go to select. I'm going to save my selection. Okay, then I'm going to go to my background, and I'm going to go layer. I'm going to make a whole new. I'm going to duplicate that layer. Okay, so that's a copy of my background. So there's the original. There's a copy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go layer. No, I'm going to go, pardon me, select, and I'm going to go convert to mask. It doesn't look like it did anything, but if I turn this off, you can see that my selection, I have my selection as a whole new layer. And before I started the video, I actually did a bunch of other stuff. So I have a bunch of other, I copied all the other flowers already. So, and I'm going to show you why I did that in a second. That looks weird. I'll show you why I did that in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the background, and I'm going to make a copy of that again, just so we make sure we have a good backup copy of it. So I'm going to go layer, and I'm going to say duplicate layer, and so there's the duplicate. I'll turn that off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this. So I'm going to zoom out here so you can see everything. All right, so what I'm going to do is on this background layer, I am going to adjust. I don't like how this is all dead looking. I don't like that white and gray dead looking stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. Hopefully I can get it to work. So I'm going to go to adjustment. No, I'm going to go to filter, effects library. I'm going to go to colors, and I want to go to grassland. And so you can see the effect that it had. Okay, and so I think that looks better. But let's adjust it down a little. Let's see. Probably something like that, and apply that. Okay, and so the reason it worked good is because I had already had these copies, right? So if I didn't have the copies, it's gonna dull out the stuff I want in the foreground. Okay. Okay. So now, anyway, so I like that. Okay, let me turn everything off here. Okay, so there's my. Okay, so here's the one I want right here. So I'm going to go to this image. Okay, so I've made that copy of it. And so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to make a copy of this. So I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go to layer, duplicate layer. And now what I can do is, because I have a copy of that flower, well, that ain't it. Control Z. Because I have a backup of that flower, so I'm going to go to this layer that I just made, and I should, no, that's not it. Control Z. Okay, so let me turn off all. I'm going to figure this out while you guys aren't watching here. Okay, so what I've done is I turned off the visual on all the layers except for the two versions of this flower, and then I'm also going to turn on the background. Okay, and so I'm going to go to one of these things, and then I'm going to go to my arrange tool, and so then I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to probably go something like that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it behind. Oh no, let's see. So when I turn this guy back on, not that guy. So let's see here if we can find it. So when I turn this guy back on, I'm going to drag him up and above. So he should be above this new thing. It's not working. Okay, so I dragged this one. I dragged this layer underneath this one so that it was behind. Now the only problem is that you can obviously tell that these are pretty identical. And so what I'm going to do is this. So I'm going to click on this layer. I'm going to go I'm going to go edit, and I'm going to go transform. Let's try that again. Edit, transform, and I'm going to flip it horizontal. And let's see where it went. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so I'm going to turn off all these so we don't make any mistakes here. Let's see, we're only going to be working with this one. Okay, and so let's try it again. Let's see what it does. Edit, transform, and we want to flip it. What else is it doing? Let's press Control Z. All right, let's move the whole thing. Okay, so let's move the whole thing over here. Let's go edit, transform. We're gonna flip it horizontal. Okay, so then we're gonna, that makes it look a little bit different. Then we're gonna go edit, restore it. Let's press Control Z. Okay, so what we're going to do is try this again. So we're going to go edit, we're going to go free transform, and we're going to rotate it this way a little bit. Okay, and then we can move it around so it doesn't look identical to the other one. So let's turn on the background. So let's apply that. So let's turn on our background so we can see what it looks like with it. Okay, so that's not exactly where we want it, but you can see it's starting to look a little bit different than that one, different enough to where we can get away with it. So let's move this some more. Okay, so if we move it down like that, okay, so it's starting to look, I think we'll get away with it, something like, maybe like that. Okay, I like that. Okay, so far what we've done is we've cropped the image, we have copied something from the image, moved it, and adjusted it to where it doesn't look super fake. And then the other thing that we've done is we've applied a filter to the background to make it green. So I want you to do something similar to that, some changes like that. The next step is that we're going to add a, well, let me turn on all these guys so we bring the vibrancy back up. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring in something from another picture altogether. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to layer, and I'm going to say add image as layer. And then you can get something off the internet, which is what I did. You can use a picture that you've taken. So this needs to be, the main thing needs to be a picture that you've taken, but the thing that you add can just be from anywhere. Okay, and so it's way behind everything. Let me drag this all the way to the top. Okay, and so basically it covers everything up, but we're going to mask it and move it so it'll be okay. So on this one, this flower is very vibrant yellow, so it's going to be easy to select using the magic wand. So I'm just going to select it using, I'll crank this up to not that much. Let's try that. No, doesn't want to do it. So we're on the magic, oh, I have it on remove, so we're going to go to add. Okay, so we got a lot, and then I'll click a couple times on, oops, I'm going to press Control Z, didn't get that. So this middle stuff is going to be easy to get with the elliptical marquee. We'll go to add, and we'll just add that circle of stuff. And we can just grab anything we missed with the marquee tool. And then we have a little bit of stuff, something here we don't want, so let's go to the subtract, and we'll just use our little marquee tool and subtract. All right, that's a pretty good selection. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to get rid of this whole background. And so we're going to go to layer. No. We're going to go to select, convert to mask. And now I have this big old bright flower. Let's move it. We're going to move it, kind of make it look like it's kind of in the corner here. And so kind of, do something like that. Should we put it over here? I don't know. Let's put it right here. And then we're going to shrink it down. So let's kind of shrink it down first to get it to a reasonable size that we like. It's not overwhelming to our picture, but adds. Let's get rid of, speaking of ads, we're going to get rid of the ad. And probably something like that. Looks kind of interesting. And now you can decide if you want it to be more prominent or not. Okay, or if you want it to be. The other thing we could do too is we could blur it. So we could say enter. Okay, and something like that. And then if we wanted to, we could make sure we're on that layer. And if we wanted to, we could come to our blur tool and we could decide, do we want to blur it out and make it look like it's more in the background or in the foreground. I don't know. Edit, redo. So I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay, and so that's the assignment. So let me break down the expectations of this thing here. Now I want you to see my face because I'm talking right to you. Okay, so the expectations of this are that you're going to use. So you're going to crop. Start off with the crop tool. That you're going to use. Do a selection with the Bezier lasso tool. You're going to select something and copy it to the picture. You're going to select something from another picture and add it to it and try to make it look as realistic as possible. And then finally, you're going to apply one of the filters. You're going to select something and apply a filter. So that is the expectation. And obviously, when you're done, you're going to file, save it. You're going to save the JPEG. And you're going to give it a good name. So download that, but don't forget that you need to get that download, and you're gonna name it, give it a good name, and you're gonna put that in your 5 photos folder. And then the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go file, save. So you do one as a PNG or a JPEG, either way is the same, and then save one as a PXZ and download that. Same thing, give it a good name, and give it a good name and put it in your 5 photos folder. And then that's not final. The final thing is you take a copy of that picture and you put it into the scoring guide for the editing the 5 photos. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you.